You guys ready? Okay, good afternoon. My name is Dina Tamis. I'm a lieutenant with the Honolulu Police Department's homicide detail. Also with the cold case and strategic enforcement details. Today, I'm about to announce Today at approximately 7:40 a.m. with the assistance from the Unified Police Department in Utah, a suspect was arrested for a murder that occurred in Honolulu nearly 50 years ago. I will be giving an overview of this case which led up to the arrest. On March 21st, 1977, shortly after 7:30 a.m., HPD officers responded to McKinley High School on a report of a possible homicide on the second floor of the English building. The arriving officers found a 16-year-old female victim, later identified as Dawn Momohara, lying on her back, partially clothed. It appeared that she had been sexually assaulted, and she was pronounced dead at the scene. Several personal items were recovered at the scene, including her purse, slipper, shorts, and other evidence. An orange cloth was tightly wrapped around her neck. Homicide detectives learned that Dawn was a sophomore at McKinley High School. The morning before she was killed, Dawn had received a call from an unknown male. Later in the day, she told her mother that she was going to Ala Moana Shopping Center with some friends. That was the last time that Dawn's mother saw or heard from her daughter. An autopsy was performed by the chief medical examiner, which determined that the cause of death was asphyxia due to strangulation, and the manner of death was declared homicide. Dawn had sustained injuries around her neck where the orange cloth had been used to strangle her. The medical examiner further related that Dawn sustained injuries consistent with sexual assault. Scrapings recovered from the scene and during autopsy were examined and determined to be seminal fluid with the presence of spermatozoa. As part of this investigation, detectives interviewed numerous friends, family, and acquaintances of Dawn. One witness reported that on the night before Dawn died, between 9 and 10 p.m., he and his girlfriend drove through McKinley High School campus and observed a car and a male near the English building. The car was parked on the grass, and a male was observed walking out from the ground floor steps. The witness circled his car back around, but the male and the car had already left. The witnesses at that time described the male as an Asian male, approximately 18 to 22 years old, between 5 feet 5 and 5 feet 7 inches tall, approximately 140 to 150 pounds, with a light tan complexion, with dark wavy shoulder-length hair that was combed back. He was wearing a plain light blue pullover type collared short sleeve shirt and a dark colored long pants with an unknown type of footwear. The witnesses described the vehicle as either a 1974 or 1975 Pontiac Le Mans, Buick Century, or a Buick Regal. He said the vehicle was a two-door hardtop with a white vinyl top and red or maroon bottom, large rear wheels, and white raised lettering and grille-type louvers. A second witness confirmed the vehicle description. A composite sketch of the male was released to the public, but failed to provide any substantial leads at the time. On March 28, 1977, detectives interviewed Gideon Castro, later identified as the suspect in this case. He stated that he had known Dawn since the latter part of 1976, since the 1976 school year, and had met her at a school dance. Gideon graduated from McKinley High School in 1976. He stated Dawn was friends with him and his brother William. He said that Dawn called him occasionally when he was still attending McKinley, and that he last saw her at the McKinley Carnival in February of 1977, where they talked for about 15 minutes. He said that he told her that he was in the Army Reserve and had returned to Honolulu earlier that year. On that same day, detectives interviewed Gideon's brother William. He stated that he had met Dawn at McKinley High School dance in 1976 through his brother Gideon. William denied ever dating Dawn, but he did say that he sometimes spoke with her on the phone. William said he last saw Dawn when she walked past his home 3 days before she died. He said that they talked for about 5 minutes, and William offered Dawn a ride to school, but she refused. William added that he went to the campus on the on March 21st, 1977, to see a friend and heard that a girl had died in one of the buildings. Despite following up on numerous leads and interviewing multiple individuals, investigators were unable to identify a suspect at that time. Let's fast forward 42 years to March 2019, when the Homicide Cold Case Detective submitted a request to the HPD Scientific Identifications Section's Forensic Biology Unit to process several items of evidence that was recovered from the murder scene, to include a blue shorts and an underwear that belonged to Dawn. In May of 2020, a DNA criminalist obtained the partial major DNA profile of an unidentified male from the sperm fraction of the samples obtained from Dawn's shorts. In September of 2023, information was received that William Castro or Gideon Castro could be potential suspects in this case. Further research and investigation revealed that William resided in Chicago, Illinois. In November of 2023, Homicide Strategic Enforcement Detail detectives traveled to Chicago area to assist in surreptitiously obtaining a DNA sample from William and or William's biological child. Detectives were successful in surreptitiously obtaining a biological reference sample from one of William's grown children. The HPD DNA criminalist obtained the DNA profile from the surreptitious sample and compared it to the DNA profile of the unidentified male. The lab's findings excluded William as a suspect. Further investigation revealed that Gideon Castro resided in Utah and had a biological child who lived in another state. With assistance from the Federal Bureau of Investigations and Homeland Security Investigations, Gideon's son was located and a surreptitious DNA sample was obtained from him. After initial testing by the FBI, the sample was given to the HPD for testing and comparison. Analysis and testing showed that Gideon's son was a biological child of the unidentified male, who contributed the DNA profile obtained from the scene. Earlier this month, detectives from the Homicide Strategic Enforcement Detail traveled to Utah and obtained a surreptitious biological sample from Gideon. That sample was sent to the HPD DNA criminalist, who compared that sample with the unidentified male. It was determined that the DNA profile obtained from the evidence matched the DNA profile of Gideon Castro. With the assistance of the Department of the Prosecuting Attorney, a warrant for Gideon Castro's arrest for murder was issued. This morning at 7:40 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time, the Mill Creek Investigations Unit of the Unified Police Department of Greater Salt Lake located and arrested Gideon in a nursing home for murder in the second degree. In the weeks leading up to the arrest, our investigators worked with HPD Scientific Investigative Section's DNA lab and the Honolulu Prosecutor's Office to develop probable cause for his arrest. We also worked with our federal partners, the Federal Bureau of Investigations and Homeland Security Investigations, and want to thank them for their assistance, which was instrumental during the investigative process. We also wanted to thank the Unified Police Department of Greater Salt Lake for their assistance in locating and arresting Gideon Castro for murder, and special thanks to Sheriff Rosie Rivera of Salt Lake County and her team for making possible the arrangements to accommodate Gideon Castro as he awaits extradition to Honolulu. On behalf of the Honolulu Police Department, I want to thank all the individuals and agencies that made today's arrest possible. Thank you for your dedication and commitment to the tireless pursuit of justice for Dawn and the Momohara family. That's all I have for this. Any questions?
What was the exact cause of death again?
Let's see here, I don't want to get it wrong. The cause of death was asphyxia due to strangulation, and the manner of death was homicide.
Do we have a time frame of what time this happened on the school grounds?
We don't have an exact time frame, but it was after hours on a Sunday where she was supposedly last seen to when she was found, so anywhere in between that time, Sunday through Monday.
How old is Gideon now?
He is you're gonna make me do math, hold on. He was born in 1958.
And have you spoke with Dawn's family, and how are they doing?
The cold case detective is reaching out to them.
So he's in custody now?
Yes, he is in custody.
Do you know what his reaction was?
That I'm not sure.
Do you put this, now that we have some sort of solution to this cold case, What do you credit that solution to? Is it the update in technology? Is it the police work? What made this case be able to be solved?
Definitely it was the DNA, the increase in technology and DNA, what they're able to do with the samples from 1977 to what we can do with it today. Okay.
Can you talk about what the facilities are here that you can do DNA, but you can't do, what can you do here in your lab?
Our lab can make the comparisons of the DNA. They can obtain a DNA profile. I mean, I don't want to really get into exactly all the things that they offer, but that's what they were able to do for us and make that comparison.
The samples to a mainland lab?
No, we actually ended up doing it here. They were able to come up with that profile. They were able to get that profile off of the evidence that we had.
Everybody okay? Okay, we're gonna pivot right now and we're going to give an update on the
So just to update you on the missing persons regarding 18-year-old Joseph Fujioka and 17-year-old Samantha Chun. The Honolulu Police Department's missing persons detail is continuing the investigation into the disappearance of Joseph and Samantha. We do know that on Friday, January 17th, just after 9:00 p.m., Joseph left his home to pick up his girlfriend Samantha from her home in Mililani. At about 9:47 p.m., they went to Aloha Gas on Kipapa Drive, and then they arrived at Ke'ike Beach at about 10:30 p.m. Joseph parked his vehicle, a 2012 silver Toyota Corolla, on Ke'ike Road, and the vehicle was later found locked and secured. They set up a blanket on the beach nearby where they parked, and this blanket, along with their cellular telephones, wallets with cash, car keys, clothing, and other personal items, were recovered from the beach. Based on Joseph's phone location, his family was able to determine that his phone ran out of battery at 11:06 p.m. His last location was at the beach. All the items have been recovered. Detectives are currently working to continue to interview witnesses, gather and review surveillance videos, and examine and test evidence. So on behalf of the Honolulu Police Department, I want to thank all the individuals and agencies that have assisted in the search for Joseph and Samantha. Can take any questions you have on the missing teens.
Ocean Safety had the lead initially. Are you taking over as of now?
We do the missing persons investigation. As far as the search, it's Ocean Safety and HFD. The investigation itself about the missing persons is what we do.
Can you speak again to what exactly was found on the beach versus what was found in the car?
What was found on the beach was their blanket, their cell phones, there was cash, there was wallet, other personal items were recovered from the beach.
Was anything found in the car? that was
Right
still
now, we
outside?
have detectives actually going to be looking into the car and processing the car.
Were the belongings disturbed at all?
It didn't appear to be.
Do you have any reason to believe there might be some foul play?
We're not ruling that out at this time, as the investigation is ongoing. So there's not much more I can tell you other than that.
Is everybody okay?
Was he a surfer, by chance?
That I'm not sure. Yeah. Thank you.